Hey, everybody, it's Jenny Clark with Solvability. We've got another great session of Freedom Friday. Today, my special guest is Cathy Miclat with Vets to PM. And I have gotten such unbelievable results from the DOD Skill Bridge intern that Cathy connected me with, Addie. And Cathy, what I'd love for you to start with is just tell them a little bit about Vets to PM, what you do, why you do it.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, and we'll talk about Addie too. That's wonderful. So I'm with Vets to PM, and we're an organization that helps transitioning military members achieve meaningful post-service careers. And we do so with certification training so they can validate their experience in terms that the civilian workforce will understand, with lifetime job placement assistance, and through our DOD Skill Bridge program.
Well, DOD Skill Bridge, that sounds like Department of Defense. Who started it? How long has it been around? And what does it cost an employer?
Okay, well, gosh, it is a program that's been around, correct me if I'm wrong, Bridgett, probably around 3 years, I think 3 to 4 years.
It actually began a long time ago. It was called Career Skills Builder, and they recently changed some of the direction of the program and created the Skill Bridge program. But the Skill Bridge specifically was about 3 years. Yes.
Yep. And thank you. And it's a program that enables active duty military in the last 180 days or 6 months of service to intern with corporate America to make that transition better. And so we at Vets to PM became DOD Skill Bridge approved during COVID last year, about a year ago. And we changed the program. Our mission, is to help transitioning service members achieve meaningful, lucrative post-service careers. So we incorporated certification training with the program. So we are able to help employers who are not Skill Bridge approved host an intern by us being the Skill Bridge provider. We will provide certification training, and then we will enable the intern, or what we call a resident, to do the on-the-job training with the host company. And we call them residents. I know that was going to be your next question, Jenny. Why do we call them residents instead of interns? I think when people hear the word internship, they think of somebody just graduating college or just doing a summer in between, junior and senior year of college. And they don't really have depth of work experience. These people transitioning out of the military have 15, 20 plus, it can be any number of years of experience. And they bring tremendous depth of work experience with them. So they are basically changing industries as opposed to just learning how to be a worker or an employee or a manager or whatever the case may be. So we incorporate training. What does it cost? Well, the service member is still on active duty, so they're still getting paid through their service organization. So you don't have to pay any salary to the residents through our program. We at Vets PM do ask, since we're hosting and we're responsible for compliance and managing those interns, we have a fee that goes along with the certification training. And if you want a resident that doesn't fall within our programs, which are project management, IT cyber, general management, and our newest one, human resources, we can administer the program without the training for a smaller fee. It's a one-time fee. You'll get it back through the work opportunity tax credit, which is a tax credit that organizations can take advantage of for hiring veterans. So ultimately, you're going to put more money back into your revenue if you hire the resident as opposed to spending.
Oh my gosh, you're so right. When I was planning to do my GovCon Summit and everything, I thought I'd love to get a DOD Skill Bridge intern because you guys explained it to me. And I thought, I really want to create an opportunity for somebody. And I don't know that I'd have a position for them when I'm done, but I could sure use some assistance here. And like you said, it did help with my bottom line because the Navy was paying the amazing Addie.
Yes.
And I can even remember when you connected me with her for an interview, I hopped on the phone with her and she said, well, I've already looked at your website. I've identified this, and this. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're the person I've been looking for. And what I loved about it is you also made sure that she had connection to another group so she could get the PM certification and training for that. Hey, I would love to bring in Bridgett Manning because Bridgett is getting out of the Air Force pretty soon, and she's one of your Skill Bridge people. Do you mind hopping on with us here?
No, not at all.
Tell us a little bit about what you have learned so far, why it's important, and how it's a great opportunity for you.
So I have an amazing opportunity to work with Vets to PM, one that, it keeps me in contact with veterans. I think that that's kind of my calling, is to maintain some sort of service to veterans and provide them skill sets and tools to help them make this transition easier. I was a squadron superintendent, so I managed about 240 people and was one of the approving officials for some of my members to actually go into the Skill Bridge program. And I have to say that it is so, what an amazing opportunity to be able to bridge the gap between that military and the private sector, learn different, we have our own acronyms. We learn, we've learned our own language being in the military, and now we have to figure out how to speak eloquently and professionally in civilian terms. But what's awesome is, companies don't actually maintain any liability for us. I know a lot of human resource sides are apprehensive because the company doesn't own them. They aren't on their payroll. So when it comes down to liability, DOD, our line of duty determination, we're still on active duty. So as long as we're in our place of employment and where we're supposed to be, there is no liability for the company. They even what's awesome about it is, there's no obligation to a company to offer a job. That is kind of the end goal for us military members and veterans, is to be able to segue right into a job, but it's not a requirement for a company to hire or to accept a Skill Bridge applicant. And so, the risk is relatively low for a company, and it's really just to provide us that training and to kind of integrate us into the private sector. Vets to PM is fantastic because they do provide some credentialing services and that training, but not necessarily if you utilize Vets to PM to manage a Skill Bridge opportunity to, for your company, that you have to utilize those credentialing. And then you don't have to worry about the management of that. The DOD Skill Bridge used to do a program where a member could bring on a company, and now that is a recent change that it has to be DOD approved, which Vets to PM is. And so they can facilitate that program for a smaller company that doesn't necessarily want to unload or onboard numerous applicants. So, I can't even, some people are like, I can't even believe they're allowing members to just take up to 6 months to integrate into a company. What a fantastic opportunity for us that the DOD has provided. And then also for companies, there's so many different skill sets that veterans have that you cannot teach in college, with being resilient, the work ethic, the experience, the skill sets that we teach, like when we come in, we don't say, hey, some of the members, don't necessarily choose what they're going to do in their careers. And they say, hey, you're going to do this. And we go, okay, got it. We're going to do this. So, we have a way to just adapt and overcome is one of our great skill sets. And so whatever, companies have for us to do, I think that we can integrate and kind of figure out how to do whichever job and skill set that they ask us to do and require. So Cathy did mention that it's up to 180 days, but it's up to, it not necessarily has to include 180 days. Vets to PM likes to facilitate the Skill Bridge duration for about 90 days at minimum, just because of all the credentials that they provide, but not necessarily required for a company to maintain a 180-day program. It is, a member is authorized up to 180 days of their last last commitment.
So many great points. I want to jump in, but go ahead, Jenny.
Please do add. Okay. What are some other things you're thinking about, Cathy, that makes this so valuable?
Well, it's valuable for everything that Bridgett just said. And, to get that civilian work experience, we have a lot of IT cyber interns that we work with a host company for. And the host company wasn't able to hire that person at the end of his internship recently. and the timing wasn't right. So because Vets to PM provides some extra things, resume writing, interview skills, things like that for every resident, for every Skill Bridge resident, we were able to do a post with his new fresh resume, with his new Security Plus and his top secret SCI highlighted on it. And he got hired by Leidos within days. So even if the company can't hire the person at the end, it doesn't mean the person wasn't hireable or wasn't a great employee. And throughout that internship, they got so many new skills, certifications, understood how to interview, understood how to work in the private sector. And that person's just going full force. That's happened a couple of times. Most of the companies end up hiring, but sometimes they don't. The 180 days, terminal leave or saved paid time off has to be taken usually during that 180 days. So depending on how much time the service member has, it will shorten their availability time. It's a great tool. SkillBridge is a great tool for recruiting. If you have positions and you want to be able to kind of try out a candidate, train the candidate, you've got months of not paying a salary to somebody who you're able to take the time and train appropriately. And then, if you're able to hire them at the end, there is no onboarding. You hire them, they sign their offer letter, and they start working. And of course, the work opportunity tax credit